I did 300K my mom's house, my car, Lyanna car, my car, 2 boats. That's just 2 boats. That is 635K, yeah.
Before whispers of bankruptcy ever surfaced, Travis Hunter was all over social media, flaunting his wealth. But now, StephenASmith is putting him on blast, questioning the reckless financial choices behind the show.
The big issue I have is with Travis Hunter. What in God's name would make you think that that's a good thing to tell the world?
And while his wife's latest scandal might have been the spark that set everything ablaze, Stephen insists the responsibility rests squarely on Travis himself. She's young, people make mistakes. But the bigger question is this: what really triggered Hunter's financial downfall, and how deeply is his wife tied to it? The so-called Heisman hero had built what looked like an empire, but it was already starting to crack. For anyone who somehow missed it, Travis Hunter is the crown jewel of the Jacksonville Jaguars, a 22-year-old phenom taken near the top of the 2025 NFL Draft. This wasn't your typical college star. He was a generational two-way talent, excelling at both wide receiver and cornerback for the Colorado Buffaloes, something football hadn't seen at this level since Charles Woodson back in 1997. But that shining story quickly darkened, as Hunter was making history, lifting the Heisman Trophy in December 2024 and signing a massive $46.65 million rookie contract with a jaw-dropping $30.66 million signing bonus. Storm clouds were already gathering, threats that could wipe away everything he had worked for at the eye of this financial hurricane. His wife, Lyanna Len, her scandals and rumored financial demands have drained Hunter's fortune faster than water through a sieve. And when StephenASmith, a man famous for never holding back on athletes' bad decisions, starts questioning your personal life, you know the situation has gone from bad.
I don't believe that about Lyanna 1 second. And I don't want to hear anything about anything that she may have done years ago. She's a young lady. Come on, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? She ain't some seasoned, grown woman who's experienced and living her life and, you know, manipulating things. And she's a young lady. Mistakes happen.
At first glance, it might sound like StephenASmith was defending Travis and his wife. But once you start connecting the dots across his comments on different platforms, the picture looks a lot more troubling. Smith has actually been one of the loudest critics of Hunter's personal decisions, especially the financial gamble of getting married without a prenuptial agreement. The warning signs were there from day one. Like many young athletes who suddenly wake up with life-changing money, Hunter brushed off every red flag waving in front of him. Reports confirm that he and Len tied the knot in May 2025, no prenup in sight, a move that had financial experts and sports commentators shaking their heads in disbelief. Think about it. One year, Hunter was a broke college student. The next, he's signing a $46 million rookie deal with millions in bonus money up front. Instead of protecting that fortune through a simple legal safeguard, he walked into a marriage contract that could legally strip away half of it. And unfortunately, the prenup mistake was only the beginning. The spending spree that followed was wild and dangerously reckless. Within weeks of signing his contract, Hunter reportedly dropped around $600,000 on luxury cars for Len, including a fully customized Brabisky wagon worth over $200,000 that he presented at their wedding reception. Then came the Jacksonville mansion, $3.27 million for a 13-room estate on 7.5 acres, complete with a pool, tennis court, 4-car garage, and enough luxury to rival Hollywood royalty. Add in a $100,000 engagement ring, a $20,000 Caribbean honeymoon, and a steady stream of lavish gifts, and you had financial advisors nationwide pulling their hair out. Stephen, who's made a career warning athletes about the pitfalls of sudden wealth, didn't hold back. On multiple shows, he called out Hunter's reckless trajectory, stressing how dangerous these habits were for someone just starting his career. The warnings didn't just come from Smith, though. Experts across the board sounded alarms almost immediately after Hunter signed. High-profile divorce attorney James Stone even went as far as offering free prenup services to the entire 2025 draft class, using Hunter's marriage as the perfect example of what not to do. And then there was the internet. Online chatter accused Len of being a gold digger from the start. People pointed to her $sign tattoo on her ring finger, the fact that she'd ignored Hunter's demise until his football fame exploded, and her comfort in being showered with luxury. The numbers themselves told the story. Hunter admitted he spent over $635,000 almost instantly. $300,000 to buy his mom a home, another $250,000 on cars for him and Len, nearly $80,000 on boats, plus countless other expenses that stacked up faster than his bank balance could handle. What made it worse was the context. This wasn't a veteran star with years of guaranteed money. Hunter hadn't played a single down in the NFL yet. Every dollar he was throwing around was tied to future potential that could vanish overnight. With one injury or a bad season, Stephen, with decades of experience covering the league, knew how fragile an NFL career can be. His concern wasn't just about Hunter's early splurges, it was about the dangerous precedent of building a lifestyle so inflated, so unsustainable, that it could eventually collapse under its own weight.
You're about to go into the National Football League. That's what you're about to do. You're about to get paid. In my eyes, this should be your most selfish time. You need to think about the people that you're involving in your life.
StephenASmith's warning to be selfish with your money and selective about who you let into your inner circle couldn't have been more relevant for Travis Hunter. The financial weight of maintaining Len's high-end lifestyle was becoming a burden that risked shaping every choice he'd make in his career. And the disaster, it was already rolling downhill. Like a runaway freight train, every flashy purchase, every ignored warning, and every short-sighted decision was setting the stage for a financial meltdown. The spree had only just begun, and the scandals, they were about to erupt across every corner of social media. Smith was gearing up to unleash some of the harshest criticism of his career, aimed at a rising star who was spiraling fast. The unraveling began in December 2024, at what should have been Hunter's crowning achievement. On December 14th, he claimed the Heisman Trophy, the first wide receiver in history to do so, and the first true two-way player since Charles Woodson in 1997. But instead of being remembered as the pinnacle of his college journey, that night became the spark that would ignite chaos around his personal life. The first warning sign, Lyanna Len's icy reaction during the ceremony. Cameras caught her hesitating to stand when Hunter's name was announced, only rising after what looked like a nudge from Coach Deion Sanders. The clip went viral instantly, and not for the right reasons.
His name was called. I instantly was gonna, if you watch the video, you can see me but his mom didn't get up. So I was like, oh, maybe I don't get up, maybe I just sit here with her. So I sat there, and then y'all said Coach Prime had to tell me to get up. No, he didn't. He said, go get him. Go get your man. And once Travis stood up, but he didn't have to do that because I was gonna do that anyways. As soon as I seen Travis get up, then I thought it was appropriate to stand up, greet him, congratulate him.
That awkward moment was just the opening act. Days after the Heisman, old videos and photos started surfacing online, showing a very different side of Lyanna Len than the carefully polished, supportive, partner image fans thought they knew. The bombshell hit when a YouTuber uploaded a video alleging that Len had worked as a stripper at an Atlanta club when she was just 18 or 19. The claims directly contradicted her long-standing story that she bartended, not danced, in clubs where staff were legally required to be at least 21.
This YouTuber here exposed the fact that Travis Hunter's girlfriend worked at a strip club, but in what capacity? Was she a stripper, or did she have other roles?
The fallout was immediate and expensive. In today's NFL, marketability is everything, and a player's endorsement deals are tied as much to reputation as performance. The stripper allegations scared off major brands that had been eyeing Hunter, costing him millions in potential partnerships, and that was only the beginning. More videos began to surface. Clips from 2020 and 2021, allegedly showing Len grinding on men at parties, exchanging messages labeled as sneaky links, and even leaked Snapchat videos that appeared to show her in bed with another man. Defenders claimed the footage predated her relationship with Hunter, but the blurred timelines fueled endless speculation and mistrust. The backlash was so intense that Hunter deactivated his Instagram, slamming the door on what could have been a multi-million-dollar revenue stream in endorsements and sponsored posts at the exact moment he needed stability the most. Still, despite the avalanche of scandals, Hunter publicly stood by his wife.
What was they expecting her to do?
I don't have to decide I know I don't have to defend myself in no clowns. I'm not defending myself. I'm defending my girl. Cause she's not gonna get on here and talk. She just hurt. She upstairs. She been crying all day. Cause people trying to attack her character. They don't know her. They ain't never talked to her before. So I'm gonna protect my girl.
Hunter's emotional defense of Len made it clear just how much the scandals were weighing on both of them, but it also exposed something more troubling: a young athlete making financial moves with his heart, not his head. When you're pouring hundreds of thousands into keeping someone happy while they're facing serious allegations, that's not business thinking, that's desperation, and it's the kind of desperation that drains fortunes. Then came the rumors that Len might be pregnant, a twist that threatened to pile even more financial obligations on top of an already unstable situation. Between the scandals, the lack of a prenup, and now pregnancy speculation, Hunter was staring down the perfect storm of financial vulnerability.
Anyway, pray for my man Travis Hunter. There's rumors that his current girl is pregnant, but that's only rumors. It came out came out a month ago. People saying that their wedding, she seemed like she had a baby bump.
And StephenASmith wasn't the only one sounding the alarm. Former NFL stars like Des Bryant and Pac-Man Jones openly urged Hunter to cut ties, warning that he was risking both his career and his fortune for someone who might not be in it for the right reasons. But as damaging as all of this already was, the worst was still ahead. Just when it seemed things couldn't spiral further, the ultimate financial nightmare was waiting, one that didn't just threaten Hunter's current wealth, but every future paycheck he'd ever earn in the NFL. The scandals, the reckless spending, the ignored red flags, all of it was building toward a financial collapse so shocking that even Stephen A man who's seen decades of athletes lose it all, admitted he was stunned by how fast Hunter's empire was crumbling. To really understand how everything unraveled, though, you have to rewind to the very start of his relationship with Len, because the warning signs that experts now point to as obvious were flashing from the beginning. The couple first crossed paths when Hunter slid into Len's DMs back in 2020, but instead of answering, she left him on read for 2 straight months. Later, under public scrutiny, she offered an explanation that many saw as a little too convenient.
The real reason Travis sat in my DM for 2 months is because he DM'd me when he had a girlfriend, and her name was in his bio, so I instantly knew he had a partner. So I exited the message and he sat there until he was single. I don't do home wrecking. I'm not a side piece. I don't stand for any of those things. I support women, so I would never do that to another woman.
Critics immediately began poking holes in Len's version of events. If Travis wasn't her type, as she had repeatedly claimed, then why was she monitoring his relationship status closely enough to jump in the moment he was single? The timeline suggested something far more calculated, that she was strategically waiting for the perfect time. Right as Hunter's football career was gaining serious momentum, Len defended herself, insisting she wasn't talking about looks when she said Travis wasn't her type. When I said he wasn't my type, I didn't mean attractiveness. I don't even have a physical type. None of the men I dated before looked alike. One was a white cowboy, another was a Mexican soccer player, then a black SoundCloud rapper, and then Travis. So I've never dated the same type physically. Their relationship accelerated quickly once they finally connected in early 2022. By March, they were Instagram official, and Hunter had already started showering her with high-ticket gifts. This was also the moment his NIL valuation was skyrocketing, making him one of the most marketable college athletes in the country. Financial experts couldn't help but notice how neatly Len's interests lined up with Hunter's rising earning power. The red flags multiplied as details emerged. Hunter openly admitted he spent staggering amounts in that period. I did $300K in my mom's house. My car, Leon's car, another car, 2 boats. That's just 2 boats. That's $635K. Guys, the casual way he rattled off nearly $635,000 in spending shocked even his supporters. And what worried financial experts most was the pattern. Almost every major purchase centered on Len or their relationship. The expensive cars, the luxury lifestyle, the non-stop upgrades had all fed into expectations that only escalated over time. By early 2025, months after signing his rookie deal, reports claimed Hunter was already running into serious cash flow problems. His spending had so outpaced his actual liquidity that he was essentially living paycheck to paycheck, despite holding one of the richest rookie contracts in NFL history. As gold digger accusations hit their peak, Hunter doubled down in Len's defense, saying, "It ain't about the money, chat. It's about the girl you with. She brings value to me. She makes me money, and she makes her own money. So if y'all say she's a gold digger, make sure you say I'm a gold digger too, cause I'm using her too. She got money." Shaben had money. What was meant as loyalty instead highlighted an unsettling truth. Hunter himself was framing the relationship in transactional terms, suggesting money was at the very core of their dynamic. By August 2025, rumors of divorce began circulating, with insiders claiming Len was preparing for a settlement that could reach staggering levels. Without a prenup, Hunter was staring down the possibility of losing half of everything, including massive chunks of his NFL earnings. The timeline painted a troubling picture. From Len's 2-month delay in replying to his DM, to the sudden flood of expensive gifts once his nil money surged, to an engagement timed perfectly as he entered the NFL, it all looked less like coincidence and more like calculation. What alarmed veterans and financial experts wasn't just the spending, it was the precedent. If a relationship starts with constant demands for luxury, those expectations don't fade, they grow. And the Jaguars, while publicly backing their star, were privately worried. Coaches reportedly saw Hunter's focus slipping in practice, his decision-making shaky, his confidence rattled. Meanwhile, the financial pressure spilled into his online presence. One week he flaunted the high life, the next he'd wipe his Instagram clean and go silent. To experts, this screamed instability, someone trying to maintain a facade while drowning behind the scenes. On top of it all, legal risks started mounting. The leaked content involving Len brought the threat of lawsuits, and even fighting off frivolous claims costs hundreds of thousands in lawyer fees. Before long, whispers spread that Hunter was being urged to consider bankruptcy as a protective strategy, a brutal irony for a player who had signed for tens of millions before his 23rd birthday. And that's what made this collapse so tragic. It was preventable. Every red flag had been raised, every warning voiced by people with experience. Yet here was one of football's brightest young stars, standing on the edge of ruin not because of injury or failed investments, but because of choices in love, loyalty, and financial protection. The sports world watched in disbelief. A career that should have been remembered for greatness was now a cautionary tale, all traced back to a single DM and the dangerous timeline that followed. If you found this story eye-opening, click one of the videos on screen to dive deeper into the hidden truths behind sports' biggest scandals.